Welcome back to Game Room Crafts. I'm Kelly. This is my game room. Let's play. Today is day 12 of the 13 days of Halloween, and today I'm going to tell you a story. When the kid was 8 or 9 years old, I found this cute little brain mold in my Halloween section. I believe it was at Walmart. And we always had a tiny little Halloween party before the kid and my nephews went out trick-or-treating. So I wanted to make something fun for them. So we ordered a pizza that was shaped like a jack-o'-lantern, and I made worms and dirt cups, and I got this mold and I made Jello Brain. Now, the first year that I did it 2 years in a row. First year that I did it, we brought it out on a silver platter and revealed the brain. We said to my nephews, we're having brains for dessert. They freaked out. They refused to eat it. And the kid thought it was the funniest thing. She ate it and she was like, guys, it's Jello. So the second year, they were not as impressed. But the first year, I got them good. So this time, today, we're going to make a brain in honor of that Halloween memory. So the kid and my nephews will always remember that Auntie's just a little bit off. So what my plan is I found this ball and it lights up. And it's got glitter beads in it when it moves around. But that is an eye. I'm sorry about the flashing light. Please look away if the flash bothers you. It'll stop in a minute. Anyway, no matter how you turn it, the eye always ends up on top. So I am going to suspend that ball in our brain. So even if it's not lit, when we move the brain, the eye will move and the glitter will move. Kind of be like a brain snow globe. So the hope is that I'll be able to suspend it just a little bit off the bottom. And since you wouldn't have something that creepy in your brain unless something else was going on in there, well, this brain is haunted. This brain is haunted bad. So I have some ghosts. These glow in the dark. We're going to also drop these in here. Now, these are heavy, so I don't know. Well, the idea is I have to put down a layer of resin. Well, first of all, this is deep. This is a deep mold, and you should be using deep pour, but I'm not going to because I'm doing the whole suspension thing. I'm going to do it in layers. So what I think I'll do is I'll pour my first layer, and as it starts to get set up, I will put my ghosts in upside down, so their heads will be towards the top of the brain. We decided to do 4. 4 in our culture, when we were taught to count in Japanese, you can say the number 4 in 2 different ways. So it goes ichi ni san shi go. That's the way I was taught when I was little. But then I was told, don't say that because that way of saying the number 4 actually represents death. So it's supposed to be ichi ni san yongo. Took a while to learn that. I think I'm saying it right. It's been a while. I'm old and I don't count in Japanese very often. But anyway, I was always told by my grandmother, don't say it that way. It's not, not good. It's representative of death. Don't do that. Okay. We have all kinds of weird superstitions. I don't understand them all, but I do respect them. So it's like the whole watch out for the black butterfly. If you see the black butterfly, somebody's going to die. Yeah, I know. It's strange. Anyway, I have this ruler with my fishing line. Same fishing line I used in the earlier video when I suspended. So it was the brain that I suspended, which could have actually been, the line that I used could have actually been shorter, which would have put the brain more in a central location. So yeah. Okay, I think, whoops. Trying to see if that's short enough. I think so. I don't know. So I hope so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit piece of tape there to hold down my fishing line where I want it. All right. So this ball has let's call it a belly button. I guess that's where they sealed and put in their liquids. So it's round and it's perfect. There's a divot there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten our fishing line to that divot with our UV resin for bonding. This one is the Estoyo brand. And so I'm just going to put a bit of UV resin right there in that little divot. And then I'm going to take my line. Yeah, the fishing line is now on the belly button, the divot. So that's big enough, that's strong enough to hold. Or I hope so. Because that's a 6-pound test fishing line. And that ball is nowhere near 6 pounds. Hopefully the UV resin is strong enough to suspend that. Okay. Now, before we put it to the test and find out for sure, we're going to, I'm going to put a little bit of tape right there on the bottom. Actually, no, I'll put a little bit of UV resin right there. Yeah. I will put a little bit of UV resin right there in the center. Pull it tight. My ruler is plastic. When I'm done with it, I can just peel it off. At least that's what I did with the brain. So hopefully, hopefully that happens here. Although with the brain, to be fair, I used a popsicle stick. Yeah, that's done. Okay, cover that up before I mess it up. Okay, so, oh, nope, it wasn't strong enough. Oh, well, darn it. Oh, well, I tried. There we go, right there. Huh. I don't know. I'm going to have to build something up so that it stands on its own. Maybe something on each side of the brain like this so that it will suspend. But, I mean, this all might be for naught anyway, because what I'm going to do is put down a layer so that I can sink my ghosts upside down. And then maybe I'll just have the brain sit on top of it. I don't know. I was thinking suspend because I suspended the brain. But we shall see how that works. The idea also is we're going to put some of these, the kid likes these black beads. So we're going to chuck some of these in there. I am going to be using peach. This set, the Rosafar alcohol ink set that I got, there's no pink. There's peach, there's pomegranate red, there's all these different styles of red, but there's no pink. The closest you can get is this peach. So I'm going to use peach. Not very much of it because I want a tint of pink. I don't want it to be full on pink like my resin brains that I make. Okay, I'm going to mix up some resin. I'll start with a couple ounces because I just want to get really a thin layer down on the bottom so that the ghosties are not flailing around. I don't know that they need to be straight up and down. I might put them at an angle. I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to mix up that resin and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm going to drop, this is 2 ounces of the Bond Crafter 1-to-1 epoxy resin. I'm going to drop some of my Rosafar peach alcohol ink in there. I'm only going to do, let's do 1 drop per ounce. 2 drops of peach. And let's hope that doesn't make it too pink. I want it pink, but not too pink. Actually, I don't really want it pink. I wanted it gray, but the kids said that wouldn't work. That's good. You should still be able to see through that. I'm going to let this drain in here. And I'm going to stick this in the debubbler, and I'll be right back. Okay, and so that's been through the debubbler, and have some surface bubbles on top, but nowhere near what it was. Brought that to the surface, and give it spritz of alcohol. Now, this mold has had a shot of the illuminite mold release because this is a hard plastic mold. It is not silicone. So I expect it to give me trouble when I release it. Well, this is why I use the mold release. Fingers crossed that it worked. Okay, so here goes layer 1. Both sides of the center line. Hopefully this gives us what I'm looking for. I've never done this before, by the way, so every time I do something, it's the first time for me. I do it, I make mistakes, so you don't have to. Hopefully we learn something new, or it works wonderfully and yay, either it was a learning experience or it was a learning experience with a successful outcome. Okay, so that is that, and it is kind of even on both sides of the brain. You know, the brain has a center line, which is how, you know, right-handed, left-handed, right brain, left brain, creative, not creative, something like that. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna let that get tacky, not too tacky, but tacky enough that I can place my ghosties in there and still leave room for our center brain. Yeah. So what I'm gonna have to do is like put 2 ghosts down, suspend our brain, put another layer of resin in, and then put the other 2 ghosts in, because I don't want them all in one section because that would look weird. Gotta keep thinking on the fly. Plans change as you go. I don't want them all in the same layer. I want them floating throughout. So if I put 2 ghosts down here and suspend our brain, put another layer, put the next possibly 2 ghosts, probably 2 ghosts, and then our final layer. Now, should I? Maybe I'll wait until I'm gonna see, because she wants these throughout. I think I'm gonna wait until I get my tacky stage, or at least, you know, string phase. I also have this little snaky friend, and I'm gonna find somewhere to put him because I just think that's pretty gross. I don't have a worm, so I'm gonna use a snake. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit for a little while, about 20 minutes, half an hour, and we'll be right back. Hey, we're back, and look, string face. So that's perfect. That's where we wanted the resin to be when I put our ghosts in. So I think we do 2. I had a thought. So I want, let's see, 2 of you. Come here. See my ghosts? They have faces. I think I'm going to color them just because I'm me and I feel like it. And hopefully they stay. We'll try these. These are our Sharpie Creative markers. I don't even know if it's going to show up on here. This is yellow. Not really. Yellow is not so good. Well, no, maybe. You can see the yellow. There we go. To be fair, I haven't used this pen in a while, so we got purple. Purple should show because it's a nice dark color. Now, when I did it before, when I used him before in a different project, I did it in black because I'm boring like that. But it worked. I mean, you know, anywhere you don't want it, just wipe it off. I think it's okay though. All right, let's see if we can get them to do what I want them to do. I don't know. I really don't know if this will work. Will you stay? He's still sinking. He sank, kind of, mostly. Well, there's nothing I can do about it now. He sank and he's covered with resin. And he's tipping. Don't tip. Where do I have you? If I can find a brain divot, it's... Oops, and I got resin on my finger. Let's see. You see him? Well, yeah. But I want him to not fall over. That would be nice, right? Can you please not fall over? Okay. So here's the thing with that. If the ghosts, I'm not going to have a face for it. I'm going to face this one sideways. So he's looking out of that side of the brain. If the ghosts are heavy enough that they're sinking, the eyeball is definitely going to sink. So I need it to suspend, not be sitting on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some jars, I think. Do I have 2 of the same size jars? Oh, these 2 are the same. I wonder if they're going to be too tall, though. Let's give it a shot. So you have all kinds of things. Gems. Other things to put in brains. Yes, that's a Rubik's Cube. And yes, that's a knife. You might be seeing that later. I don't know. I'm not sure. So these go back because I don't need those right now. You tipped over again, buddy. Stay. Whoops, sorry. Those are floating. Kind of expected that. Whoops. Well, my jar's a little too high, but I don't have, maybe these. Are these too low? I don't want to put it inside. Yeah, see, that's too low. Those are too high. I just have to move the tape. I don't want it to be too low to where it's touching, but not so high that it's going to be sitting on the bottom of the mold like that. I actually think that's maybe not too bad. Hey, he fell over. He was laying down. All right. Oops. Center, center, center. She's not resting on the bottom. I think. I'm pretty sure. I hope. I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab me some popsicle sticks. I'm going to put 2 on this side and 2 on this side. Okay, maybe 3. And our ghosties fell down again. I don't like that. All right. I think that's where she's going to be because that's where she's going to be. At this point, it is what it is. Our ghosts are flopped over and they're not going to be better because they're just not. So, time to mix up more resin. Now, original drop was 2 ounces. So, I'm going to do another 4 ounces. And since I did 2 drops of the peach for the 2 ounces, I'm actually going to try 3 drops and hope that that's enough. Okay, so I'm going to mix me up 4 ounces of resin and we'll see you back in a sec. Well, the ball decided it didn't want to be attached. Now I'm having to reattach the UV resin again. I don't know when the phone stopped working. It is not working. I am sad, but it is what it is. So pivot. That's, the best and only thing you can do at this point. So the resin is all kind of wrinkly there because the ball flopped in it, basically. I made a mess when I pulled it out. So I'm going to reheat that just a little bit to kind of try and smooth it out. I don't know that it's going to make a difference. There's a bubble right there and I'm not happy. Can you please pop? All right. So at this point, it is what it is. The only thing we can do now is put our ball back in the hole. Well, wait a minute now. Let me try it one more time. I will try it one more time. And if it doesn't work, I tried it multiple times, right?
A little while later.
I tried to reattach it several times and it is just not happening. So we are going to pivot and try it again. Now it already plopped down in the resin, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it down in the resin side down. And yes, it's gonna be a little crinkly. I don't care. Well, I mean, I do, but at this point you just kind of like gotta be like, okay, it is what it is. Moving on, you know? Okay, so our ghosts have fallen, the snake has moved. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. Now, she's sitting on resin. She's not sitting on the mold, which, I mean, that was kind of the point. We didn't want her sitting on the mold, so it is what it is. And in the meantime, this resin is heating up. Okay, so we're gonna pour this in. This was 4 ounces of Bond Crafter 1-to-1. It's just the resin and 3 drops of the Rosafar Peach. And I know you didn't see me put my snake in there, but yeah, my snake is in there. I don't have a worm. I should have bought some gummy worms. That would have been good. But the kid doesn't like it when I put actual food in my projects because it's a waste. Now the snake is supposed to glow in the dark. So too are the ghosts. But I don't know. I know they do when you shine the black light on them. The ghosts do shine if you leave them out in the sun. I don't know about the snake. I haven't seen him except for when the black light is on him. Even when I, quote, charged him up, he did not glow once the black light was off. So I don't know. It was just a cheapy little party supply bag of creepy crawlies. Snakes, spiders. I think there's some lizards in there. So we're going to let this do its thing for probably about an hour. And then I'll come in and drop more of the black beads and our next 2 ghosts, which I've colored their eyes. One is blue and one is green. So they kind of remind me of the Pac-Man ghosts. Remember those? All right. So 1 hour and we'll be back. So I have this iridescent film. It's actually cut up gift bag. It's kind of big though. So what I want to do is make little shards of it, kind of like mylar flakes, I guess, and just kind of put it in, because I don't like how the black beads are. They sank. I didn't like it. I know I should be wearing gloves, but I'm not touching the resin. I'm only touching the film. And put some here. I think I'm gonna just, I'm already tacky. So if I want to, actually, I can go ahead and do my next layer because I'm tacky. So I'm gonna do that. So gloves. And that was not an hour. I still actually have like 25 minutes on my timer. So yeah. So for my next layer, I'm going to go ahead and put this iridescent film in and a little bit of black glitter. I'm going to put 1 ghost in this layer, and this one is the let's see. This one is the green. He's got green eyes. Put him like that, and let's hope he stays. I'm sure he's going to tip one way or the other. The other ones did. Oh well, whatever. Let's do another. I'm going to do 6 ounces this time. And this time I'm going to actually put the iridescent film in, mix it in so it's there. I'm going to cut these up. Actually, I'll cut this up, yeah, and mix it in with our resin so we can drop those in. But I'm going to go ahead and make my 6 ounces of resin. Drop, drop, drop. See, this is why I don't like wearing gloves when I do it, because it sticks to my gloves. Look at that. They're everywhere. All right. Well, at least our eye's not moving anymore. Okay, I'll put this on the side. I'll go ahead and mix up my next 6 ounces of resin. And see, I knew he was going to tip. There he goes. Ooh, that was a little too much. A little too much. Yeah, that was our B. Let that settle before I decide how much A I'm going to put in. Yeah, that's good. That's about 3 ounces. And up to 6. Okay. Yep, that's 6. Okay, so I'm going to get that mixed up and put in our color, give it a trip through the bubbler, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's been through the bubbler. That is 6 ounces of Bond Crafter 121, and it has 4 drops of the peach alcohol ink from Rosafar. So I'm going to, the kid and I have discussed it, and we're going to actually mix our shards of gift bag into our resin. Try that and see what we get. Big stick. Just push it down. I'm not mixing vigorously. I just want to kind of coax it to go throughout the resin. And I realized I should have done this before I put it through the bubbler, but oh well, it is what it is. Like I said, it's not super vigorous. I think I could actually get a little bit more. I don't have much. I might as well just use it. Okay, so that's that. I got it in, and it's as good as it's going to get, I think. I did scrape my sides on my bottom, and I will scrape it again when I get it out so that any shards that stick to our cup comes out. And in we go. This is layer 3. And I will finish off the brain in one more layer. But if that was 6 ounces, I don't know how much it's going to take to finish it off. Somewhere I wrote down how much this brain takes. But if I don't know where the somewhere is, that doesn't help me. All right, let's get my little scrapey. I love my little scrapey. It works. It really does. It even gets down into that little groove in the bottom of the cup where everything likes to hide, especially glitter and cellophane film. I'm going to have to look and see where I wrote it down. I know how I wrote it down. And I even calculated displacement for our ball and ghosts too. But it doesn't help me if I can't find it. It's like putting something in a safe place. So safe you can't find it. Yeah. I do that all the time. That and why did I come into this room? Okay, so we are going to let it do its thing for maybe an hour. I'll check it because I think I can get away with doing it all in the one layer if I can figure out how much this is. Actually, no, I'll do it in 2 because I am kind of thinking I want to do the very bottom either in a solid color with black or I don't know. I'm thinking I'll figure it out, but it'll take me some time to do it. So we'll be back when it's time to do our next layer. See you in a bit. So it's been an hour and I missed my window. This is hard. It's still sticky, but it's hard enough that I cannot push my ghost into the resin. So our ghosty friend here is going to have to go in on the last layer, which I'm mixing up now. I have 6 ounces here of Bone Crafter 121. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the last one, being the peach reservoir alcohol ink and some of our iridescent shards. And then instead of waiting an hour, I guess I will come back and check it every 20 minutes because I need that ghost to get in on this next layer. Otherwise, he will not be included. And that would be a shame. He needs to be in there. And then for our final layer, the absolute final layer, it's just going to be black iridescent glitter, and this is bubblegum. This is the color the kid picked. I don't know. It's a little pink. Everything's pink today. So now I'm going to drop my color in. I'm only going to put 3 in. I put 4 on the last one, but really, I don't know. To me, it's getting a little pink. Okay. So that's all nicely mixed. Get this scraped off. Mostly recently I just use my finger. Give it a quick spritz before I forget. Don't want to ruin yet another paddle. Yes, I know. If you let it set, let the resin sit, you can peel it off. But eventually what happens is, I mean, it's going to happen anyway. Your paddle is going to crack. It's silicone. But you keep scraping it, eventually you will weaken the silicone. So I don't like to do that. I like to clean it off before it gets set. Now this time around, I'm going to mix our shards in first, and then I'm going to have it take its trip through the bubble machine. I had the kid come in and cut this up for me, and apparently I missed a strip. Got them, and I give them a dunking into the resin. All right. Time for its trip through the bubble machine, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and it went through the bubbler, and let me tell you what happened. I had put my cellophane shards in there, and yeah, it brought all the bubbles up. But when I pulled it out, all the cellophane was on the top. It had pushed, all the bubbles had pushed all the cellophane up to the top. So I ended up having to mix it back in. So there are going to be bubbles, but it's going to be less than what it was when I first put it in there. Okay, here we go. Oh, what I did was I took a little bit of UV resin and I stuck my ghost head first where I want him. And now he is set at least long enough for this layer to get in around him. This was 6 ounces. Yeah, my measurements were way off. Apparently, so I found where I had written down what this would take. And I wrote down that it would take 16 ounces for it to be 3/4 full. I'm already past 16 ounces, and that's with the brain and the ghosts. I'm well past 16 ounces because I did 2 and 4 plus 6. That was 12. And then now I just did another 6. So, yeah, my measurements were way off. Of course, I was using water. I probably should have done rice. I've noticed that when I do my measurements with rice, it's much more accurate. I think it has to do with the viscosity of resin compared to the viscosity of water. But who knows? I'm not a scientist by any way, shape, or form. So that was another 6, and I'm going to say that it's probably going to take another 6, maybe 8. But I'm going to go ahead and fill it up because I want it covering my ghost and my eyeball before I put my final layer of the black and pink. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I will see you back to do the final layer. All right? See you real soon. And we're back, and that's done. I mixed it for 4 minutes. That seems to be the magic number, although I don't just rely on magic numbers. I also have to check for striations and check that the cloudiness has all gone away. So I clean off my paddle because this is not my glitter paddle, and this layer is going to be glitter. So I mix my glitter in using a popsicle stick. That way it won't get all stuck to my silicone. I hate cleaning glitter off silicone with a passion. Okay, so the kid has decided she wants black and pink for the final layer. Now I only did 3 ounces because the glitter is going to raise the volume a bit. And this is a thin layer, although wide. So see what we get. So we're going to start with the black. And then we're going to add our bubble gum. Now that is the color that I used in the last layer. And it's cute. And it's very, both of them are very shimmery. Holographic glitter, I guess. She wanted them mixed together. So that is what we are doing. Wow, you can see lots of different colors in here, but what you can't see is pink. That black glitter just swallowed the pink glitter whole. So I'm going to add more pink and hope that that solves our problem. And if it doesn't, oh well, I guess our final layer is going to be black. I'm making sure to scrape it because the glitter loves to stick on the side of the cup. Now I can see that, so that's good. But I still think that was the black really did take over. That, yeah. I'm gonna drop a couple of drops of glue in there because I don't want it all to drop and then we end up with a clear band on the black on the back. That's not what we want. So this is 3 ounces. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3 drops of the clear Elmer's glue. Nice and thick. That's what we want. Thick like slime. And this is going to go for a trip through the bubble machine. I pray that that means we don't get very many bubbles. So we will see you in just a bit. Okay, and we're back. And that has gone through the bubble remover. Here we go. I still think that's too dark, but oh well. Will it cover my brain? That's so weird. I see a lot of blue in here because it's, iridescent glitter, holographic glitter. So you got all kinds of colors in here. I suppose in certain lights you can see the pink, but the black really did take over. It's a very strong color. These were both by recollection, so if you're ever doing this project using these glitters, now you know. Go lighter on the black, heavier on the pink, if pink is the idea that you're going for. Personally, right now, I'm not disappointed because I think that our brain got a little pinker than I wanted it to be. It's not domed. I'm good with that. I'm good. I'm not going to mix up anymore. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to get as much of that glitter as I can out of this cup because I hate cleaning it, but I also hate wasting it. So scrape it out. This scraper is great for that. You just hold it up against the side and roll the cup, and look how much I got out of there. Isn't that wonderful? Normally I would scrape that up against the side of the cup, but I'm playing with glitter and I don't want the glitter and the slime to go back in and on the cup. I'd rather it be on my popsicle stick. Okay, so we are done with our brain for tonight. I'm going to tell you a little secret. This project took all day. I started about 10 in the morning and it's pouring, waiting, pouring again, waiting, situating our inserts, which in our case are the ghosts, the snake, and the glitter ball. Pouring again, waiting, pouring again, waiting, pouring again. It is now 8:17. So we started at 10 in the morning and it's now after 8. So yeah, I'm done. I'm leaving him alone. I'm not touching it until tomorrow. The temptation is there, but I'm just not going to do it. Promised myself I wouldn't do it. So I'm not turning on the heat, which by the way, yeah, I suppose that could have cut down my time. However, this is a hard plastic mold and I do not want to take the chance that my heat mat might melt the plastic, because that would have been a lot of resin spilling everywhere if that plastic did not stand up to the heat. If I remember correctly, when I bought this mold, it was not like oven safe or anything like that. So, I mean, it's been a long time. 2017 was the first time I used the mold. So yeah, I don't know. It's been that long. And it's been sitting in my kitchen cabinet. So I'm glad I got to repurpose it. But there are limits to what I expected it to do. So I was not going to turn on the heat mat for this. So we're going to leave it alone. In fact, I'm going to cover it up for the night so we don't pick up any dust, or I don't have insects in my house. But the one time you don't think it's going to happen, it'll happen. I'll end up with a spider in there, which would work for Halloween, but So we're going to cover him up. And yes, this is the dome I normally use when I have my heat mat on. But I'm not turning on my heat mat. I'm just covering it up. And we're going to leave it alone and come back tomorrow to demold it. So we will see you in just a bit. And we're back. And we are going to finally see what happened with our big brain. Yes, that's the official title of this. This is definitely cured. Yeah, okay. No, I shot this with mold release. It should be coming out. It is not coming out. I am going to have to figure this out and perhaps get some help. So I will be right back. Okay, we're back. And full disclosure, I had to destroy my mold. Well, I had my hubby destroy my mold. I believe because there were places where it did come away from the mold itself, but not a lot. So it was number one, it's a hard plastic mold, not a silicone mold. So I believe that I needed more mold release spray, and possibly I should have sprayed between each layer, the mold between each layer, because up here on one side, it loosened fairly easy. And we had to coax it around the edge, and then that was it. It was not coming out. We tried alcohol, we tried mushkos. Ultimately, the hubby monster had to pry the brain mold away piece by piece because I'm impatient like that. There's probably a better way to get it out. I don't know what it was. So, yeah. Oh, it is sharp on the edges. So I have run the deburring tool around it, but that was so sharp right there. Okay, are we ready? There we go. That is our mold and our brain. You can see our ghosty. I can see the head of the snake. I don't see his body. There's my eyeball, and it is moving. I think I made a mistake in using too much of the peach colorant. I maybe should have went like 1 drop each time instead of 2 and 3, but it does do that, which is what we wanted. So that's a cool centerpiece for your table. So yeah, so that whole I make mistakes so you don't have to. Don't make that mistake. Either don't use a hard plastic mold, or if you are going to use a hard plastic mold, use a lot of the mold release spray and be prepared to fight to get it out. The thing is, yes, we destroyed the mold, but there's nothing wrong with the brain. There's no bubbles, there's no scratches where we took it out. It's perfect. You would never know if I didn't tell you and show you that we destroyed the mold. But I show my mistakes so you don't have to make them. So, thank you so much for joining us on day 12 of the 13 Days of Halloween collaboration. I did have fun. It was a long process, and it was a learning experience. So I learned something new. I hope you did too. Please come join us tomorrow for the finale of the 13 Days of Halloween. Don't forget to check out the playlist below. There are tons of artists, and we thank Lula from Nerd Goblin Arts for putting this together. And yeah, we will see you tomorrow for our final project for the 13 Days of Halloween, which is going to be that special ghosty we talked about all the way back in day 1. So don't forget to come and join us. And in the meantime, don't forget to play. See you soon. Bye.